of Goodbarber is that it's basically a content management system, or the technology that it's built on, and you just kind of customize things here and there and add content and link and add photos, etc. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Think of it this way: it is WordPress for apps.
Okay, that's exactly how I referred to it when Leah and Michelle were talking to me about it. So
okay, that is exactly it. Now, the technology and some things for apps are different than websites, but the concept you just said, you are spot on.
okay, great. So
Okay.
I mean, that was really my only question. I'm assuming you're going to show the back end here, and once I
Yes.
see a visual and you kind of go through things, I'll have an idea of whether or not I'm fully capable or confident, and who in my network that I know would be able to help support it as well. So
Well, let me just start kind of at a 35,000 foot level, and then we'll come on down. Goodbarber is, we looked at a lot of different ones. We felt really good about these guys. They have a fantastic support department, and they are in India. Now, they will typically respond same day or the next, but keep in mind there's a huge time difference. So the next day, if you send something in at 8 o'clock this morning, you might get a response today. If you send something in at 12 or 1 o'clock, it's going to be the next day, because they're about 12 hours ahead. So just keep in mind, but they're very responsive, and I've been very pleased with the support that they provide. Now, the key thing to remember, that the technical stuff on this is super easy to follow. It's the overall philosophy and the concept of what things are that's a little, to me, was a little difficult to get down, but the actual mechanics are super easy. Okay, if that makes any sense at all.
sorry, I have a dog barking. That's why I'm muted. I will raise my hand and ask questions.
Okay, no, okay, for what kind of dog? I got to know what kind of dog it is.
The 14-year-old Bichon.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, I'm a real dog person, so don't worry about the dogs. That's not a problem. Okay, so let me start off with, this is the back end. I have clicked on my app, and then we've got some categories that come down from here. Sections is where everything happens. So if we look over on the right, the sections is every item that's on the app. Now, if I want to add a section, I can do this, and let's go through and talk about what these sections are. On WordPress, think of this as maybe a, if you have used something like Elementor, or what is it, something bakery, or what, you know, the different systems you can have, and they'll say add different elements. That's a section and element, same basic type of thing. A blog is just that. It's a blog. You will then add content to the blog, and it will put it under. Very simple. Gallery is a picture. I've never used Web TV. I can't tell you anything about it. Can tell you nothing about the Twitter. For our purposes, because we're going to have different businesses and so forth, to me, the Twitter and Facebook and Instagram is really not particularly applicable. And so I've never even used those. About, now this is a very, very cool one to use, because it is going to allow you to basically create whatever content you want on a screen. So I am going to go back here, and you can see what each of these are. So this is the first one we've done. So that I says this is an about type element. So I'm going to come in and edit the content. Now, when we're looking at this, okay, within the content, we have elements that we can have. This one is a text element. Marie, how familiar are you with HTML? Doesn't matter, I'm just curious.
I just put earbuds in. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have very limited knowledge in HTML, but I understand I can read code more than I can program it and write it myself.
Okay. Well, it is helpful, and of course, on WordPress is helpful to me. And I know more about HTML today than I ever wanted to know. But when I need to do something, I usually look it up on search for it on Google instead of trying to remember it, because to me that's easier to do. But this is a standard text editor, just like you would have on WordPress. Any of the rules that apply to a WordPress text editor applies here. The big one, never copy and paste formatted text into here. And you know that from WordPress, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I
Okay,
always paste without the formatting to avoid
same
any
thing.
issues.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to screw it up. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to look at the source, there's our good old HTML. So it's just like any other text editor that you want. Now, you'll notice you've got a couple of things you cannot do. There is no add a graphic in here. And I'll show you why in just a second. You can change the text size, the text color, all the normal stuff, all the typical heading and so forth. All of that can be done. You can do tables and so forth. So this is just a standard text editor. If you want to add a graphic, you do that by adding an element. And
That makes complete sense to me. Mm-hmm.
there's a separate element. Now, that means if you want to put a graphic in line here, you can try it putting in the actual HTML code. Okay, you can give that a shot, but otherwise, here is, you do it by adding an element. So this is a text area, this is video, excuse me, photos. You can add a video. Now, the way it adds a video is to actually upload it to Goodbarber. So you don't do a embed, you actually embed it in. Quote, I'll be honest, I've never used. Embed, I typically don't use. You can feel free to play around, but those three top ones. So with this, I can do anything that I want. Now I'm going to preview, and I'm going to come over to this screen. Okay, and I'm going to come to, let's see, what was I on just then? About the app. Okay, yeah, just this home. Okay, so there is, and I want, no, go back. I want the, phone, thank you. Okay, so this is what we created. Here is your header. Here is your text. This is in one element. Your picture is in another element. And that is all being created from this right here. And again, as you can say, about is very similar to creating a new page on WordPress.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed pretty intuitive. So that about the app page or section, is that considered the home?
Well, it is. Now, there is a home, but if you'll notice, we have hidden this. I'd have to make it visible. We're forcing the about is the first because everything shows up in order. So this shows up as a home page, And the reason is I wanted more control over what the home page did. So I hid the actual home and I put this the first in line. So I created this as my home page.
Gotcha.
Okay. And
Thank
then
you.
if you'll notice, ask a professional, if I come down, that's the next one in line. And you'll notice that all of these in line are in order with what we have on the right. I could simply click and drag and reorder any of those that I wanted. So the order that you see them under the sections is the order they're going to show up on the app itself.
Now, I didn't ask this from the first screen. Are you able to link, when you add the element and you add a photo, are you able to link that photo to something else, like a outside website?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you wanted to do that, what you would have to do is to try to put the HTML code in the text element with an href link, and you could try and do it that way.
Gotcha. I followed all of that. See, I don't know how to code, but I know what all of it means.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know enough to be dangerous, okay? I know enough to make it sound like I know what I'm doing with HTML. And it sounds like
Gotcha.
you're kind of the same way. Okay, so let's go down. So you'll see this is another about us. So that's cool. Let's go back down to sections again. Contact us is a kind of like a contact us that you would have on WordPress, and it's just a pre-formatted contact us type section. Okay, again, very similar to what you'd find on WordPress. Map, and I'm going to show you, we use this extensively. Map is a category. For example, let's say that you wanted to have, don't ask me where my examples are coming from here, but I'm just going to give them to you as they come. Let's say we wanted to have a list of restaurants. I could create a map for restaurants with a subcategory of restaurants. And now when I created content, I could say only show this under the restaurant map. Whereas if I had theaters, I could have another map that only showed theaters. Does that make sense? Did I completely lose you?
No, that makes sense. It's basically
okay.
like a tag and category situation.
Okay, so under the map, you can categorize under the map so that you can bring up maps by categories, or you can actually have multiple maps. For example, this is a map for delivery and carry out. This is a map that only has food pantries. So they're both maps, but this one is categorized for food delivery or carry out. This one is categorized for food pantries.
So it looks like, is this populated by Google?
This it is populated. I don't know if it's Google. Actually, let me come over and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to come to content list. So this is a list just like in WordPress when you look at your content, okay? This is everything you've got. So I could either look at all, or I could just look, they call them places, not, in one place they call them maps, in other places, but you can tell it's the same thing. So now I'm just looking at this type. Then I could break it down by categories. So let's look at, for example, I want to come over here. Okay, so here's Permore Brothers. Let's come into them. Let's see what we've got. under a map, when I create one, I first assign it what the name is. I then come in and put in an address. Notice it finds it, and yes, it is powered by Google, and it will then plug in the coordinates. So if I wanted to plug in, I don't know if 102, yeah, that's an actual. So if I did that, it found that address. But Permort is 101. So it'll find the address, you click on that, and it will add the coordinates in here for you.
Can you do me a favor
Mm-hmm.
and just enter in, I'm going to give you an address and I want to see what populates on the
You bet.
right-hand side. It's 407 W South Street.
In what city?
South is spelled out. It'll be Rockford, Ohio.
Okay.
South is spelled out, sorry.
S-O-U-T-H. Okay, now notice it didn't actually find that, but what's this? I'm
Hi,
gonna,
Rockford.
Oxford.
R-O-C-K-F-O-R-D.
Oh, right, okay. R-O-C-K-F-O-R-D. There it is.
So can you click on that?
Even though I misspelled it, it still found it.
Good.
There it is. Boom.
Okay,
Now,
so
it's still calling it that because of our title.
okay, that's what I wanted to see, because so it's not fully integrated with Google. Because that's my physical address and that's my business address. So I was wondering if it would automatically update the listing here on the right.
No.
Got it.
So this way, which is good, and this way you can call the business anything you want. Now let's look on the right. These are the categories. Which categories we want? We can have all kinds of categories, and we'll talk about that more later. But this says which map it shows up in. Okay. I can put phone from the device. If applicable, you can tap the number and call directly from the device. Here is email. Tap it, and from the device, it'll email. And this is any other information, a website for any other information. Here is an element, same thing. What do you want to add? We added a gorgeous picture there.
Yeah.
Here is a text, and we took this from their website. We could keep adding elements if we wanted to. And then when I get finished, I publish it, just like on WordPress. And let's look at this. So if I come over here to food, well, actually, we just have food. So I don't actually have a place for Permort to show right now because of the corona. We don't have a full list of businesses. And again, this is some things that we'll talk about so you can look at it. But
the principles are the same. It makes sense to me. You add entries, you assign them categories,
yeah, exactly.
And then create a menu structure and tell what categories to fall under what menu structure. So
now
your efforts are not lost on me, I promise.
Well, by the way, I am recording this as well.
Great, thank you.
Okay, now then, before I forget about it, you have a maximum of 120 sections. That's a Goodbarber thing. So you have to be careful in some ways how you add things, because you got to keep in mind you're limited to 120 of these sections. Okay? It's one of the few limitations. Content, no limit to my knowledge, but sections, yes. Okay, so let's keep going through here. There's map. Calendar is just that. It is a calendar. You can add things to the calendar by category, and it will pull the calendar up and show it. Okay. Podcast. Basically, you're probably not going to be doing any of these right now, but you can add podcast. Favorites is simply a section that will allow somebody to have favorite screens. I have not used that simply because I'm very judicious with the 120 limit of using my sections, but that's what it is. I have no idea what WordPress does. I haven't used it. I have not used the YouTube. This podcast, I cannot tell you the difference. Okay, I haven't used these, so I don't know. Are you familiar with RSS?
Yes.
Okay, this is really cool because let's scroll down here. Okay, your pets. Okay. Actually, these are links. Let me see. Okay, those are, I thought I had some RSS. Now notice here, that's a map. Okay, because we recognize that. I thought I still had some RSS feeds, but I'm not seeing them at the moment. Okay, here's what happens. If you're going to add an RSS, it's super easy. You put the title up here, you put the HTML for the RSS feed, and it is now in the app. That's it. So if you want to add RSSs, they're super easy to add. Let's go and look at some more. Form. Now this I use a lot. This, you probably have used Gravity Forms or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same type thing. Here you can add a form if I know I've got some of those out here. So this tells you it's a form. So let's edit the form. And here we are. We've got an element, which is text. We create the form. Here's all of our form fields, just like Gravity Forms. Okay. And under settings, again, just like Gravity Forms, here's who receives it. Here's the success, and again, just typical stuff. So you could add as many forms as you might want to allow people to interact. Now, theoretically, you could do a contact us through a form. It's just this one is pre-formatted, just like you could do that in Gravity, but most of the Elementor and stuff, they will actually have a pre-formatted contact form. Same exact thing. Okay, search. This allows you to search the app. You can search for maps, articles, or maps, articles. Gosh, there's one more thing. For some reason, I'm going brain dead on it. Do I have this one set for search? Let me see. No. Yeah, I do not. You can. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. Again, that's a section. Just be cautious because of our 120 limit. A menu.
So if there are sections underneath that, let's use
Absolutely.
forms, for example. Does that count towards the 120?
Absolutely, every one of these. So
okay.
This is a section. This, each one of these are. So all a menu is, just like what it would sound like. It is a section that is drugged underneath the menu. So if you want to have, for navigation purposes, I want to have Ohio health updates, that's a menu. That then will bring up, oh, I don't know why this, I could swear I had changed that. Okay, I want to show this to you. I don't know why that's that format. But your pets, I swear. Have y'all been in here messing with this? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay,
No, actually, some of this information, when we were looking at it the other day, didn't seem familiar to either of them.
okay, well,
Wonder if there was a push update.
I could swear, but anyway, that is, but you can tell this is a menu, whereas this one goes directly to the item. This one is a menu. So you are exactly correct. Every one of these are sections, but it's really great to be able to put things under menus. And as you can see, you can have any type of sections underneath the menu. You can mix and match those to whatever you want. Okay, let's keep going.
Hey,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
I think Leah's got some questions. Hang on.
Okay.
Leah? Leah? Okay, maybe not. We cannot hear her.
Well, I'm probably just so good I already answered them. At least
Oh, her mic is not working, she says.
Hey, can you use the chat, Leah? We can see it if you type it in.
It's not muted. Her thing is not meant. Yeah, maybe use the chat. I'll tell her. Use chat.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
I can hear you.
now.
Got it. Got it.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You kind of
I
sound
forget my question.
You kind of sound like.
It's been a while. Like I've had the question like back when you were.
Yeah.
So I don't even know.
Well, I have two questions.
Okay.
Can we add our logo? So our logo shows on this app.
Okay, now then. First of all, the answer is probably yes. There's a couple of issues here. Number one, it would be where you wanted it to be. Okay. Now then, down, it's difficult. You don't want it, theoretically, it can be up here at top, but that doesn't look good. Okay. It could be on this home page about the app. But keep in mind, and let me just back up a couple of steps here, and let's talk about the concept of the app. The purpose of this app, first, foremost, and above all, is to help Permort Brothers to bring in new business. Okay? Now, we're nice people. We're going to help the community. We're going to benefit people. We're going to do all that great stuff. But the reason we're doing it is to help Permort. Okay? So we don't ever want to lose track of, it's easy to get caught into, well, let's help the community, help the community. That's all fantastic, as long as it's helping Permort. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now then, at the same time, Permort wants to be careful that it doesn't promote itself too much so that it comes across self-serving. We want the image to be that we are here to benefit the community, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to heavily promote that we are promoting Permort.
My suggestion would be just to have a graphic created instead of that group photo. You can have different elements or different boxes. So you have the text, and here we have that group photo. There could be something underneath it that's a smaller graphic with your logo that says this application is powered by Permort Brothers Insurance.
You absolutely could. And this
you want that brand recognition.
You want the brand recognition, I'm going to tell you personally, that's as far as I would go right there. Okay. That's me personally. But again, that's neither here nor there.
I guess I'm more of a visual. I think, like, I don't even notice that hardly because of all the typing and everything above it.
I get it.
So I would rather see an image that they're going to recognize, you know, from our other ads that we do than that written out.
And I think having a
I
section along the left-hand side that says about this app, and then it's a content page. When you click on it,
yep,
put the Mort Brothers Insurance logo there again and an explanation of the why.
totally get it. And the bottom line is, Bree, it's super easy to come in here and change that, see what kind of results you're getting from it. And if you want to change it again, it's just like the content management on WordPress. It's literally in just minutes, you can have something new in there.
Okay.
So, you know, I can give you my thoughts, but there's nothing to say that my thoughts are the right way.
Does your wife realize that?
Well,
Like,
she says that's where I get it most of the time.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, I know. I you know, she totally agrees with that statement.
That's something that my husband would say.
Okay. Now, QR code. You can create a QR code. All the QR code is going to do is to link over to a web page. You create a link for it. Honestly, I've never used that. It's there. Submission, honestly, I haven't used this one. I can't tell you a lot about that. HTML, now this is cool, okay? With HTML, what we can do, and this is what I am doing with where's the donate volunteer? Okay, historic Main Street. Actually, let me just create a new one. I can come in here and say, I want to do an HTML section. I can either create an HTML page, which honestly, if I'm going to do that, I might as well do an About Us section, because I've got as much control and it's a whole lot easier to just simply use the text editor than put everything in HTML. But what the other thing is, I can put in a URL. What that's going to do is to bring up that URL within the app. Let me show you. I can't show you directly here because you have to be on the app to see this, okay? But for example, I'm going to come in here and say donate or volunteer. This is the menu. These are each HTMLs. Now, when I click, this is only because we're on the computer. If I was on the app on my device, this web page would now be brought up right here within the app, just like as a part of the app. So we're using that for things like donate to the charities. It will literally bring up this page within the app. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So works really, really slick. It's a fantastic tool if you want to bring up outside things into the app. I also have, I'm using that for your pets and the Humane Society. This, if it were on the device, would be bringing up the Humane Society page within the app. This would actually be showing up in the app. So it's great to be able to pull in additional information pages, RSS feeds, etc. Okay, click 2. All this does is it will click and open up outside the app. I typically don't use that one. Facebook Photos, never used it, have not seen any application for it. Most of the rest of these I don't use. Let me see, are there any of these? None of these. I don't even use these. I truly don't. I don't know. I haven't used them. So I pretty much go down to the HTML and that's it. So these are all the types of sections that you can create. And if you look down, you're going to see maps here. You're going to see HTML. You're going to see forms. You're going to see abouts. So this is it. Now, from there, you come over to content list, and now you can add content. You want to add an article, which would also be a blog, a location, which is a map, or an event. Those are the 3 types of content we can add. The other content, such as bringing in a website, would be HTML section. An RSS feed would be an RSS section, but content within the app are going to be these 3 types right here. How are we doing so far?
Right as rain. Everything makes sense.
I mean, it is fairly logical, as long as you just know what the terminology is for stuff. That's the key thing, is for you to just know what the app is talking about. Okay. Now, the next very important thing I've got to show you, you will notice that besides these sections, we've got something called Helping Each Other and Corona Central. Those are not sections. That's in the navigation part of the app. So I'm going to come over here to navigation menu. First thing we've used down below here. So I'm going to come to navigation menu. These are the different types of navigation. We are currently using the swipe, which means when you click this, that pops out. There's a little swipe, which means you only get icons. There is a toolbar, which shows up below. To me, we've got way too many to use the toolbar. We've got grid, which shows up like this. Again, to me, we've got too many for grid. You've got slate, which runs everything straight down. To me, that doesn't apply. From scratch, you can just program your own or no menu. So we have chosen to go with the swipe. To me, that is the best based on what we're doing. So let's edit this. Okay, let's look at the layout. So we're going to see there is the about, and then here's the helping each other. The helping each other, if I scroll down and add an element, I can either add a title break or a separator to go in between items. Now, the title break is what I used for helping each other. That is just a title. It's not a section. It is just on the page. If I wanted a separator in between, I could come add a separator. I've got different, I can click on it and I can change the width and the color and stuff like that. And if I bring that up underneath Ask a Professional, right like that, you will see that I now have a line there. Now, we chose not to go lines. You may like them, I don't know. But that's what the separator is. Okay, let me go ahead and get rid of that. Now, let's look at what happens when I come into each of these items about an app. Here's the title. Here is the text color, both selected and not selected. Let's say that I wanted to change that text color to gold. This is selected right now, so I'd have to select both. Notice that that just changed it to gold. That changed the text color. Oh, Marie, okay, hang on one second. Let me take a look. Okay, yeah, you got a question?
Yeah, are those icons customizable or are those static in the app?
No, they are 100% lit, but just a second, I'll show you exactly how it works. I'm going to change this back to white. Now, this was a choice I made. I didn't feel we needed to have the text color, two different colors based on selected and not selected. That was my choice, my preference. I can't support that by anything except that was my choice, okay? But just that's what the selected and not selected is. Text, here is the text font, which we use Carla. Here is the font size. If I wanted that to be bigger or smaller, I can do whatever I want. 21, we just felt was a good option. Background color. This is the background color of About the App. Now, again, I could have this different based on whether this is a selected one or not. I chose to keep it the same. To me, that was just simpler. Now, icon. First, I can choose whether to have the icon or not. I can turn it off and have no icon. But I did choose to have an icon. So if I want to edit this icon, Goodbarber has sets of icons already loaded, and I can pick between these. I can also add icons. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have tried adding icons. I've had trouble getting the size and everything right. Marie, you may find this a whole lot simpler. I took the easy way out and used icons that Goodbarber had because
that makes complete sense to me too. I was just curious.
Yeah. So now these two sets, generic set 1 and 2, are the same, except this has a dark background and this has a light background, but they're the same. Generic set 3 will give you some more. Now, in generic set 1 and 2, they do have them categorized. And so far, I have found everything I need. I can pick in here. It drops it in the perfect size. It's awesome. To me, they do a great job on the icons. Then you can change the icon color. Again, selected or not selected. In this case, I picked white. Now, let's come down to helping each other. Helping each other is a text, is a title text. So let's scroll back up. So here's the title. In this case, there's not selected or not. There's just the text color and the background color. This is what the text is white, background is gold. Carla 21. The zone height is simply the space, which I did. 44 is the minimum. I could increase that if I wanted to, but to me, the 44 has worked out pretty good. So there's nothing else to format on that. When we come down to ask a professional, whatever one we're on here, we're on donate. Okay, we have got the text color. Carla 21 regular. We have got background color is white. Display the icon. Here's the icon, and here's the icon color. So this is how the actual navigation menu is formatted. Now, the Permore Brothers at the bottom, that is the footer. Now, I wish they would let us put a graphic into the footer, but there is no element for graphic. So it ain't gonna happen. I really wish it would, but not going to. Now, request a quote, that is put in as a link. So this will actually link over to the request a quote on their website within the app. But you've got complete control over what you want this menu to look like from this navigation menu. If I come to settings, this is all the settings. Do you want to display the title? I don't. If I did, then it would have this up top. I didn't care for that. To me, it was cleaner this way. What is the background for the whole navigation? I picked white. I felt it was clean. So this is where the overall settings for the navigation. General design, I'm going to tell you, be careful with this one, only because it's really easy to change the entire theme for the thing, and I'm cautious with it. Okay? I'm just cautious. But logo and title is here. I picked this icon for the menu. I could change that. Here's the icon color. Here's the title for the app, Van Wert, Ohio. If you wanted something different, put it in there. You can add a logo, but to me, it just doesn't look good. But play around with it. Logo color, font color, there's the font. Do you want it aligned left or centered? And then what color do you want the background? I picked this color. You could have an image. So this logo and title is a good thing to know from a design standpoint. Any questions?
Nope,
Yep.
no, not so far.
Okay, now let me come over and do something. Over when I clicked on your pets, notice the format that this is in. On any of the sections, I can go into the section. Right now, I'm at the top level, so I'm going to go to the menu section, and I'm going to modify the design. This is only one level deep, so I'm going to go to menu. And there are some templates. Now, template 1 will let you have pictures behind each of the items. Let me show you how the pictures work on Goodbarber. Notice here's the picture for Humane Society. Here's the picture for dogs and cats. So I'm going to pick this dogs and cats. I'm going to delete this. I am going to either load my own, or I'm going to come to the library, and they have a fantastic library. So let's pick dog, cat. What's in here? Okay, so if I wanted to use this, I would just simply click on it, and it has put that graphic behind the dogs and cats. Look, title. Now, personally, I don't like the pictures behind them. To me, that is dark, and I just didn't care for it. personal preference, okay? But you can see how easy it is to put a picture behind any of these menu items. Now, let me scroll down. Here, I can change my font size and color. I can position wherever I want. I can put it at the top. I can put it at the bottom. I can put it in the center, left. So I can, you know, whatever I want. Let me show you some other templates. Template 2 is this. Now, from here, I can change the color to whatever I want. And you know, whatever. I haven't used that one. Template 3 is going to show graphics again. There's only 2, but it'll show the first one is big and the others in columns of 2. 4 is going to show, you could put a color back here and then still have the letters. 5 is going to be 4 pictures. 6, 2 solid colors. 7 is going to be a picture and a title. And 8 is going to be this. Now, this is what I've chosen to use. I like clean. And again, this is going to be up to you guys. And this will need, Marie, to have your touch on it. But this is what I have chosen, okay? Now then, I'm going to change the color to gray. I'm going to change the color to gray. And I have picked on all of these. I know it's some people, my wife really has complained, oh, what am I doing? How did I?
That's the picture you chose.
Wait a minute, why did that? That's on about the app. This is pets. I am, okay, there we go, okay. And then this one. Come on. My wife likes colors and icons a lot. To me, they get busy. But the good news is I'm almost always right. And
We certainly don't want this to look like a bowl full of Skittles, but
yeah, you know, and
I
again,
love Skittles.
I love Skittles too, but you know, we can we'll
okay.
have to talk and figure out a couple
Why
things, but I feel pretty good.
Okay, just think. Okay, notice, see here now, to me, that's a lot cleaner. I just need to, and I don't know why this one is not coming. What are you doing? What are you doing?
This exact thing happened to me during a video training this morning, so I'm just feeling comfortable that it's not just me.
I mean, it's like your kids. Okay, here's what I'm going to do.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I'm
New
just,
tab, start over.
yeah. But the fact is, you've got a lot of control over how things look. Okay, so where am I? General design. No, I want to come down to here. And no. Stop it. Do what I'm thinking, not what I'm saying. Sections. And there. Okay, modify design. Okay, so we're going to go to menu and we're going to go ahead and change this one over to this as well. Okay. Now then, let's also come in here and let's look at this. We got that good. Let's click. This is going to go into a page. So that's good. I'm trying to see, do I have another one that would be a good one for me to show you? Because each subsection has to have its own formatting. Okay, the one we don't actually on this have any, all of these. Okay, businesses, let's come into this one. I'm going to modify design. This, we got a couple of levels. List of locations. Now, I said show the list. Here's colors. I chose not to show a thumbnail. Now, a thumbnail, if you put it in here for the business, then you could put a logo, something like that, when you're over under the content list, and it would show whatever picture you want. I just chose to, again, keep it simple. But if you want to put a picture over there, choose thumbnail. And then it's automatically going to show distance from the place on the map. So anytime you want to format something, just come into modify design. Settings is always going to be something applicable to the entire section. For you've got meta descriptions, you've got, you can just go in there and kind of play around with that and see. But this overall, there's a lot more to it, but to me, this would be a really great place for you to go in and start getting comfortable with this. And I think, Maria, actually, there could be just a lot that you can do with this.
I had myself muted. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of potential here, and I think that it's definitely within my realm of understanding and capabilities. So I feel pretty comfortable. The only other question that I've come up with during this training has been, how many users can you have, and how can they be restricted as far as access to certain parts?
Okay. First of all, to my knowledge, there is no limit of users. Okay. Now then, let's come down to users, and let's come to public, private. Now then, I have said that everything is open. Okay. And I haven't assigned any restrictions right now. But if you want to, you can assign by section restrictions. Now, if you look at your user list, Ted Baker, let's come into Ted. We can assign groups. Okay. And then you can restrict the public private based on the group. Does that make sense?
So one of the things, Marie, was having a section for chamber members. So if you were a chamber member, you would be selected as part of the Chamber of Commerce group, and then you may have a section on the app that's only available to chamber members.
Correct.
And that might promote them to join the chamber, or
right.
And same with promote customers. If we wanted to have a specific section just for our customers, then we would say this user's a promote customer and they have access to this.
Correct. Now, in general, on an app, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of reasons except the two that we just mentioned. But the fact is, yes, you have the ability. Now, let's talk. To me, the thing to do is for you at this point to get just comfortable with playing around and stuff on the app. Two very important things. If you make changes here, these changes are not pushed out to the apps until you come down to publish. Okay?
That makes complete sense.
So you can come in here and play. So you're going to publish to the PWA, you're going to publish to Android, you're going to publish to iOS. So just keep in mind that you can do whatever you want to, and no one's going to see it until and unless you publish it out to that media. So that's a good thing. So you don't have to worry about doing that. Now then, everything we said, keep in mind, this is a mobile app. It is currently published on Android through the Google Play and on the Apple App Store. Now, I'm still checking. I have not had a definitive answer back from Goodbarber yet, how I can get you your own account set up, or whether you're going to have to continue using the account that we have set up for both of those. Now, frankly, it may just be easier to keep it in the account that we've got. You and Dan are going to be the two that are going to keep using it, and you just keep using the account. And I'm thinking that's going to be simpler, because neither one of you has to worry about either one of you going in and messing around with your app. Okay. Now, Marie, when we first did this, we did the initial release to Apple and Google. Google is a breeze to deal with. Apple is the biggest pain you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it is hugely a pain. My understanding is you can do updates to Google and to Apple. I don't see any reason why you need to. I really, really don't see. You don't care if somebody knows this is version 3.1. If you want new stuff pushed out, just make the changes and say publish. The only time you would need to do a new submission to the stores is if you wanted to have a major change to stuff that's out there on the stores and a new release, and somebody comes in and says there's a new version, download it now, and this kind of thing. But keep in mind, Apple is remarkably picky. Now that didn't even come close. We had to completely change the app in order to meet Apple guidelines. For example, when we came with donate, Apple says you cannot link over to sites for donation. It says that violates their terms. We hit them all so that it wasn't out there. Then they said, well, you've got too many sites like this that we are linking over to other websites. We don't like the way to us, you've got too many. I mean, every time we submitted, they came back with something else. It was insanity. So my suggestion to you, and this is what I was planning on doing, you can have the app current with all your stuff without sending a new revision through the stores. Okay? Just don't do it. Now, Google, oh my gosh, they are such a breeze. Fantastic people. Put it in, a couple of days later, you got it, super easy. Apple, not so. You just, it all depends on who you get, and it's just a royal pain. So you've seen it. You'll go into an app. Oh, there's an update. Do you want to update your app now? Just don't ever plan on doing that. It's just going to have the latest and greatest by publishing it. You do not have to go through that update process. Marie, does that make sense?
Yes.
It ain't worth it. You don't get anything from it, in my opinion, and you would literally have to change the app in order to do it. Because I'm telling you, Apple would not approve the app the way it is right now. Would not happen. Because we had to make major changes, and then once it was approved, come back and change it back. And that's exactly what Goodbarber told us to do too. By the way, if you want to ask questions, you come down here to support, go to online help, excuse me, no, sorry, pay attention. Go to contact support, pick a category, whatever, pick a subcategory, okay? And then you can, it'll bring up some things, but what I always do, I put a topic in, I come in here and tell them what my question is, attach a file if I want to, and submit it, and you will see these are the discussion threads that we've already had for the app. My suggestion is get in and get comfortable. And right now you have the access to get in here. Now here's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to wait until the last day of this month. And I am going to convert this over from our reseller account to your personal account. At that point, you have total control over this. Everything is going to be moved over to your personal account. It's then you and Goodbarber. I'm waiting till the last day because we're already paid for this month. What Goodbarber has told me is that they will give you a month for you to actually pay. So I'm trying to give you this month and next month. That's the reason I'm waiting until the last day of this month to do the transfer over. Might as well get all of it that you can without having to pay. So for right now, you can get in, but we'll definitely talk before I do the transfer. And then once I do that, everything will be the same. It'll just be a different login for you. Well, I'm assuming that. I don't know. Maybe you'll use the same one. I guess I don't know that for sure. But there's a lot.
I thought that was my screen at first.
I'm sorry. Say
the one. I thought that was my screen at first. That I was like, who's Christy Brown?
No.
The other question that I had was, is the app icon customizable?
Of course. That is over under general design. Oh, Christy, I'll call you back. Okay, that is over under give me a second. Okay, let me come to the dashboard. Well, that's right, this is the dashboard. Hang on, just a second. Hello. Hi. Okay, let me get off a call here in just a couple of minutes. I'll call you right back. Okay. Okay. So let me be sure I'm saying this right. My app, general design, is this under global style? Okay, this is, no. Okay, get out of that. Okay. Again, I'm very cautious going into global style. And that should not have changed. Okay, we're all good. Icon, this is, okay. Okay, here is the App Store icon. Now remember, we're not going to change it in the App Store, right? So are you
Right,
wanting
because we
to
have to do
change
all
it
kinds of
on
stuff.
the app, on the device? Where are
Um,
you wanting to change the icon?
well, the app stores, but since Apple has such stringent guidelines, we'll just play along.
Yeah, yeah, I would suggest not doing that. But this is
Because
where you,
people, this is
this is,
why I'm just
Mhm.
wondering if people, I mean, if it said Van Wert on it or, you know, something that they would be more apt to use it. They might download it, have it on a different screen and scroll right past it and never use it. So we're have to teach people how to use it. And this, Leah and Michelle, jump in if I'm wrong, but what I found, my community that I live in is just south of Van Wert, and it's very, very small. And it took us probably 3 years to get users to really get used to using Facebook. So to incorporate an app that's going to help them, yeah, it has its selling points, but it needs to almost be like, use this app, Van Wert.
Mm-hmm. Right.
um, I totally get you. I'm just going to tell you, this right here is where you would change it.
Okay.
It is not a problem to do it. It would just require an update to Apple to do it.
Right. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. That was the first thing that I
Okay,
thought of when
yeah,
I downloaded
but
the app
that
myself.
is
I was like,
where you do it. That is where you do it. So,
okay, great.
and
The
I
branding nerd,
wish it weren't that way, but it's just Apple. It's just Apple.
yeah, the branding nerd comes out in me. I've been doing this for like 20 years, over 20 years, and I get a little OCD when it comes to where logos get placed.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand.
But this is great.
Marie,
This has been very helpful.
well, Marie, why don't we do this? Why don't we give you some time to go through? Again, there's some other stuff that we need to talk about. I'll get you a copy of the. I'll just put it out to our YouTube and send you a link so you can re-watch this again. And then, what if we talk again? Let's see. Next Wednesday is the 1st, I believe. How about, would Tuesday give
Friday.
you enough time? Because Tuesday is when I'd like to do the switch. Would Tuesday be enough time, or do you want to wait until next Thursday for us to talk again?
Well, Friday is May 1st.
Wait a minute.
So, well,
Oh,
Tuesday, either way,
gosh,
Tuesday
Friday.
works.
Why was I thinking it was earlier than that?
Because
Oh,
April 1st was a Wednesday. I don't know.
I have zero idea. Okay, in that case,
Hey,
let's
you
just
know
go.
what? At this point, I don't even know what day it is.
Okay, I saw something. It was just yet another hallucination. Let's just go ahead and talk this time next Thursday, and that will give us a chance to talk, and we'll do the switch at the same time.
Okay.
As long as that's good with you, Michelle and Leah, I'm
Yep.
flexible.
Yep. We have a scheduled
Yep.
call already, so.
And then I
And it's
also
not like
want
I
to talk.
have any meetings anywhere.
Well, I also want to talk. Yeah, also want to talk to you about what our marketing is. What we're doing there. We've got a lot of Facebook. Have you seen the Facebook ads
For
for
no.
the app?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll
For
show you.
their app or for Goodbarber in general?
No. For the app, specifically for you guys. We've got Facebook. We've got all kinds of marketing for you. Okay. So we'll go through that next week as well, because you will definitely want to see what all we've got there.
Perfect. Social media and Facebook ads, Google ads, all those analytics. I'm really well versed in that.
Fantastic.
So
Well, and
that's
everything we've done on the ads, I'm sure you probably use Photoshop, right?
yeah. I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I have the whole
Beautiful.
creative suite.
Well, I'm an amateur, okay? So you're going to be able to take these things, I hope, and take them to a higher level than we did. But I still think they're pretty good. But I can send you the PSD with the layers and everything.
Oh, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that'll give you a good starting point. That's a picture from our front yard.
I'm jealous.
It's not bad.
Well, for my
It's not a bad place. Okay, this is our driveway going down to our house is up here to the right. That's another picture of our yard and the driveway. And see, we have a guy that takes care of all the yard.
Gosh, it's so awesome.
Look at that.
That's really nice.
It's pretty.
Is
maybe
that-
someday, if my business grows large enough, I can live in Costa Rica too.
You could live anywhere, Maria. Or Marie.
well, here's
I'll go
here's-
by anything. It's fine.
this is a view from our neighbor's house.
Wow.
But get this, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's the front yard. There's a house up there, and fully furnished. That's the patio out on one side, and then there's a whole deck out on the. This is the front deck, and fully furnished. Okay, that's our front deck. And 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Fully furnished. We don't own the sheets, the dishes, the towels, in any of it. Okay. With the guy to do the yard, our rent is $950 a month.
That doesn't sound
No.
high. I mean, it sounds high, but it doesn't. For
No,
you're getting.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of my house payment.
Mhm.
that is all the furniture, everything. And that's on the high side here. That's definitely on the high side. But we yeah, that's another picture from our house. I mean, it's not a bad place to live out the quarantine.
Yeah, no kidding.
One more, let me just, I want to show you some of these Facebook ads that we did, just to give you an idea.
So
Okay.
Ted, while that's loading, do you run those through your own Facebook page, or are you an ad manager on Promorts, or how does that work?
Okay, what we have done, we haven't done them on Permorts yet, but Dan Sage is the other guy that will be on, that will be a good contact for you. This is Dan's site. We send them to him, and then he posts them out on his site, and he sends them to people in his office. And I've told him, Dan, get these things out on everything that you can. Let me scroll down until I find some of them. And again, I know you're going to be able to have a lot of great ideas, but just let's see if I can find some on Dan's. Come on, Dan. You post too much.
It's like trying to find anything
Okay,
on my Facebook page.
this is one.
Okay.
Hey, Middleburg Heights, a lot has changed. There's so much information, hard to keep it straight. We can help. Download the free our community mobile app. Get all the info you need to make it through these trying times. And here are links to download the app.
Okay. So they're not really ad campaigns, they're just posts that from
Yes.
people that have large networks.
Yes, and we've got a whole series of these. Okay,
There's one.
well, Dan, I guess you actually didn't post out some of the others, the last ones that we did. Not surprised.
But those are
So
good graphics that we could use for ad campaigns, and that's a whole other strategy once the app is where we feel it's ready to publish again and advertise.
because you want to get this out. What we want is for the app to be a household name throughout the community. That's what we're going for. Come on. I actually post quite a bit too. I am world famous for my posts. People have great expectations of me. I only post the best and the funniest, and usually just a little on the warped side. My sense of humor tends to be towards the odd.
I feel you, Ted.
And so, but people expect certain things from me. Oh, come on. Has it been that long since I've done one of these? I really
My
want
brand is hot pink, and then my business brand is my logo is my face. So I completely understand, and I have a large social media presence because that's what I do in my spare time.
yeah. Well,
But I see what you're going for there,
yeah,
and you have some branded
we'll look
graphics.
at it next week, and I'll get it. But anyway, I think we've done some really cool things, but we are not a social media. We're not social media people, and so you're going to be able to do a lot more and a lot of really great things with it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. This has been really helpful. I understand, and I could follow everything. I mean, there's going to be some nuances here and there that I don't quite understand, or how often is it backed up? Is it automatically backed up? So
Yes, it is. Absolutely. That's one of the nice things about dealing with somebody like Goodbarber. They've got all the infrastructure, no problem.
Perfect. Well, this has been very helpful. I don't have any other questions.
Good deal. Well, listen, let's talk next week. You've got my email address, I'm sure. If you got questions in between times, don't hesitate to send me an email, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
Okay,
All right.
we'll talk to you guys next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you bet.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.